This past weekend, Wessel Nijman picked up a European Tour title for the very first time. Now, we've seen Wessel Nijman go through the ranks. He dominated in regards to the development tour, won loads of those. We've seen him in Players' Championships over the last 3 years, pick up titles, a couple last year, one a few years ago, one already this year, been trending in the right direction. Now, Wessel Nijman's been someone I've always been quite interested in because he's never really been defending a lot of prize money. So he's been someone that's always trending in an upwards trajectory. But is somebody who has started defending prize money now, but it's not really too much of a worry. We'll get into prize money in a second and sort of how that is looking in regards to what's defending. We've got to look first of all what the standard is like. Now, if you've been following this channel, you'll know that at the start of this year, I said I expect Wessel Nijman's going to have a good year this year. And there was one thing that really stood out for me for Wessel that was really interesting. And that is the fact that he is now a full-time dart player. Was sort of working alongside things, now taking darts a lot more in the professional capacity. And that might be where we're seeing improvement in regards to the TV form, because at the moment, when you look at Wessel Nijman, you don't see somebody who is now the world number 20. And that because his best run on a TV event is the last 16, the World Series of Darts Finals, which is a non-ranked event, and the Grand Slam of Darts. Now, that doesn't mean he hasn't been performing well in these events, he's just not been winning matches too well. Obviously the last 16 of the match play, but that's one win, top 32, get into it. Never really got anything going at the World Championship, was a bit of a surprise defeat this year, certainly for sure, and also the UK Open, another event where you'd imagine with the Players' Championship form that he's had, and also remembering not just the fact that he's won a European Tour, but he was one of the players, or certainly at the back end of last year, who had the most wins of anybody on the European Tour. So we know he can do it on the stage. He hasn't quite put it together on those. So how far can he go? We know now he's up to world number 20. When we take a look at the top 32 in regard to the averages, this is over 12 months. Karel Sedlacek, the number 32 on averages, based with a 93.02. Now, in a moment we'll get to Wessel Nijman, he's significantly over the top of this, which means statistically earns his position in the top 32, comfortably inside the top 32. The question now is, does Wessel go on to reach the top 16? Has he got that capability? Has he got that game? And if so, where does he then need to start picking up results? Here is the top 16 in the world based on averages, and you can actually see if we were to grade the top 16 players in the world purely just on their statistics, Wessel Nijman would be the world number 13. So is performing better than his ranking is based on the average and the stats alone. Now just needs to get those wins on the big TV stages to be able to make those jumps in regards to the rankings. Now to get those wins, he's going to have to keep improving. Otherwise, then we're talking about a psychological aspect, aren't we? If the level stays the same, how can we maximise that potential? That's the psychological phase. But if the physical is still improvement, which it is, FDI index, once again providing me some amazing stats here, going back to 2018, we can see the development in the game of Wessel Nijman, certainly over the last 3 years. And we've got this broken down in regards to Players' Championship events, European tours and TV events. And you can see there was actually a bit of a drop-off last year in regards to the TV form compared to what we saw in 2024 in regards to those numbers. However, improvement all round. European Tour, yes, there's not as much volume in there, but that has gone up. We've stayed very stable and good in regards to what we're getting on the Pro Tour. And with those numbers and those averages in regards to the TV, you'd imagine that he's going to start getting wins sooner rather than later. But the main thing here is we can see progression and we can see sustainability across Wessel's game. So let's review the rankings. You'll see Wessel Nijman here now, number 20 in the world, going up 4 places off the back of that European Tour event, £402,000. The goal next would be to reach the top 16, to become a seed for all those big major events and guarantee his participation, which he's pretty much done already. So we can see right now £65,000 exactly away from Martin Schindler. Now, Wessel is defending prize money this year. He's defending £95,000, which isn't a lot when you've got over £400,000 on the board, but he is guaranteed events, the match play, the Grand Prix, the Worlds, the Euros, the Players' Championship finals and the Grand Slam. So he's going to be in pretty much all the big major events, which means he's going to defend a big chunk of this £95,000 just by turning up. That's before he wins games. That's before the European Tour. That's before the Pro Tours. And that's before he's winning games in these big events. So he's in a very good position, because not only is he going to be gaining money, most likely this year, but he's going to see people above him here in the rankings that are going to be defending quite a sizable chunk. So the first place to look here is world number 11, Danny Noppert. Danny Noppert's going to be defending £213,000 this year. Yes, we know he's going to defend some of that, but he becomes vulnerable to the move of Wessel Nijman. Ross Smith, world number 14. He's defending £229,000. So again, a big chunk of his prize money, not too far away from 50%. So he needs wins where Wessel will be gaining them. Stephen Bunting, who's gone down 2 positions now to world number 9, he's defending £286,000. You can take a look as well as the world number 4, Michael van Gerwen, who will be defending that World Championship final this year. £468,000 of Michael van Gerwen's prize money is going to be up for grabs at the back end of this year. So we can take a look at players within the top 16 and we can go, well, actually, there's some vulnerable players here who maybe not so much the likes of Noppert and Bunting. They're just people that have got big chunks. You know, you'd expect them to do so. But there's players above Wessel Nijman here that could be defending big chunks who won't defend the total prize money, which means they're going to bring that gap a little bit down. Wessel's in a great position here right now, where I think it's inevitable, with the money that's coming off of other players, the money that's going on Wessel, and with the performances of which he's producing so far this year, that he goes in the top 16, well, at some point in 2026. Now, he's always a player that's commanded respect, certainly with the odds compilers. Looking at this as we stand right now, he is the 7th favourite, joint alongside Gary Anderson, to win the World Championships this year. That is ahead of the likes of Stephen Bunting, Johnny Clayton, who's top of the Premier League right now at the time of making this video, Danny Noppert, Nathan Aspinall, last year's semi-finalist Ryan Searle, James Wade, Rob Cross, who's won the World Championship, Chris Dobey, the list goes on. Endless list of players that he is ahead of in regards to the odds. Joint 7th favourite alongside Gary Anderson, only 3 points worse off than Michael van Gerwen in the odds compilers estimates to win this. So he's going to be a big heavy favourite. So with that in mind, it makes this feel a little bit disappointing, doesn't it, in regards to what's there on the TV form. But now the big question is, the fact he's won a European Tour title, does that mean he then kicks on? Basically what I'm saying here is, I'm collating the data, I'm collating the stats and the facts, and what I'm seeing right now is I'm seeing improvement in numbers, a win that he's never had before on the big stage, a change in lifestyle, consistency here in regards to top 16 level performances. Basically what I'm saying is the numbers and the evidence here stacks up to the fact that Wessel Nijman could quite well be the next new major champion. If you don't think that's the case, if you think Wessel isn't going to be the next new major winner for the first time, who do you think is in a better position? Let me know down in the comment section who you think that is, and I'll catch you soon for some more Edgar TV.